Tenderhearted, the podcast for those of us who struggle with being extra sensitive in a less than sensitive world. This is your host, Amy Kelso. I'm a writer, speaker, teacher, and advocate for anyone who is tenderhearted or cares about someone who is. Hello and welcome to Tenderhearted. I am your host, Amy Kelso. Today what I want to talk about is universal empathy. Now, okay, there's a difference between empathy and being an empath, first of all. So empathy is when you feel for others. You can imagine the situation, you can put yourself in their shoes, you feel bad for them. That is empathy, and that is an important trait. But being an empath is a stage beyond that. It's not just imagining what it must feel like to be in that situation. When you are an empath, you literally can feel what it feels like to be in that situation. It's happening to you. The feelings are there. And again, we can argue about whether or not you're really actually picking up their feelings, or if you're just so good at putting yourself in someone's shoes that you can actually imagine what they're feeling. So, for example, it may be that an empath sees somebody and can tell by their body language that their body is tense. So maybe they're not actually feeling the feelings, they just can imagine what's going on because of their heightened awareness of the other person's body language, or maybe they really are picking up those feelings. And that is an argument that I'm not going to get into here. I guess either way, it doesn't necessarily matter that much because we're still feeling it. So whether or not we're actually feeling someone's feelings or just imagining what it must feel like and feeling that because of it, either way, those feelings we're feeling, and we have to deal with it. Now, what happens sometimes, for example, when there is a big event that's happening in the country at large, is that we can feel the stress of the people, whether or not it's somebody directly. So an example of that during 2020, which I'm sure we all remember 2020, when the pandemic was going on and everything was shut down, nobody knew what was going to happen, it was all up in the air, and everybody was feeling a level of stress. Those of us who were empaths were stress off the charts. We could feel or sense that communal stress, and we're picking it up as well. I know I've talked to a lot of empaths who said during that time they were not able to do anything. It was very frustrating because okay, everything's shut down. You've got free time. You can do whatever you want. This is your chance to do all those creative projects you've always wanted to do. Except for those of us who were feeling all that stress, we couldn't create anything. It was pulling us down. So that, I think, is a very real phenomenon that I think is important to acknowledge. Now, I'm not going to get into a lot of politics. I try to avoid that. But what's going on right now in the country has caused a lot of stress for a lot of people. And those of us who are empaths are feeling that communal stress, in addition to any personal stress that we might be going through, which there's a lot of that as well. But in addition to that is all of this communal stress that we are picking up on, whether we want to or not, whether we mean to. It's just their atmosphere, if you will. And we're feeling it. So I guess my message today is, first of all, just an acknowledgement that that is a thing that actually happens for whatever reason. So if you are an empath and you are feeling extra stressed these days, acknowledge, yes, there could be a reason for that. Again, there may be your own personal reasons, and I think there's a lot of reasons right now to be stressed personally, but also keep in mind how much of that stress is something you're just picking up from the community at large. So the first step is acknowledging where that stress is coming from, and then I guess the second step is trying to remind yourself that this stress that you're picking up is not yours. You do not need to hold on to that stress. We all have enough other stress. So acknowledge it. Yes, we're all feeling stress. Yes, I'm feeling that. And then release it. One of the things that I found was the best way for me to deal with my own empathy was learning how to channel the emotions rather than hold them. So when I'm around somebody who's feeling upset, it used to be that I would pull that in and feel all those pain feelings as well, and that would totally, drag me down. I have learned to say, okay, I feel your pain. I will take it in. I will take it from you, and then I will channel it into the universe. And however you want to picture that. For me, one of the things I found was that I can channel that into the trees. For me, the tree said, look, we can handle those emotions, just send them to us and we'll deal with it. So whether or not that's real, that helped me to feel like, okay, this person is feeling these feelings. I can bring them in, say, okay, let me help you relieve those feelings, and then send them out again to trees, to nature, to the universe, to the stars, whatever helps you to think about it. But don't hold on to anything that is not your own. Ideally, don't even hold on to like the stress that's your own. That's a whole nother story. But first, at least learn how to say, okay, this is coming from the universe. I will let it come, I will feel it, and then I will send it on to the universe. I don't need to hold on to that stress. So if you're an empath, that is what I would suggest. If you care about an empath, be aware that they may be going through that. Be aware that they may not be able to communicate that with you. They may not even be aware of it. They may not know why they're feeling so stressed. First of all, just acknowledging, I understand you're feeling stressed. Maybe depending on your relationship and your situation, you could suggest how much of this is your stress and how much is are you picking up from the environment? And if you are picking up from the environment, you don't need to hold on to that. Maybe learn to let it go. So first step is understanding. Second step is trying to help them understand better. Third step for all of us is just to acknowledge that yes, times right now are very stressful, but stressful times do not last, no matter how much it seems like it at times, like right now. Sometimes it definitely feels like the world is falling apart and it's never going to get better, but that is not actually true. And it's important for everyone to remember this is just temporary. Things will change. Things will get better. Hold on to that instead of holding on to the stress and worry about what's happening. So that's my bit of advice. Hopefully it helps. Hang in there, all of you. We will have better days. We will have less stressful days. We have to believe that. So take care. And again, if you have comments, please add them to the comment section. The other thing I'm just going to throw out there, I would really like to start doing some interviews with people who are tender hearts or people who care about tender hearts. So if you have a tender-hearted child or a spouse or someone and you want to talk about it with somebody who understands, please reach out. I would love to do some interviews, and we can do that anonymously where your face is not shown on the screen if you'd prefer, or we could do it with your face shown, just depending. So please reach out if you have a story you'd like to share. I'd love to work with you and share that story. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Hang in there and trust it will get better. Thank you.